Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Hunt Ready tonight. I'm gonna do a little video here. This is for farmers, landowners, homesteaders, just your general person that's having issues with raccoons. There's a lot of videos out there, how to set these and run these on trap lines, and then the general homeowner or farmer or landowner, what have you, if they're having a problem with raccoons, seems like 9 times out of 10 they always go right for cage traps. Well, cage traps are fine. They're expensive, so normally most guys don't set more than one of them out. And I'm sure you guys know as well as I do, if there's one coon, there's probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 or more, when they're coming and going through your barn, tearing up chicken feed, getting into eggs, killing chickens, what have you. There's usually a group of them. So I recommend anybody that's having issues with coons are these dog-proof traps. This is a Duke dog-proof, also known as a Duke DP. These will run you anywhere from $11 to $14 depending on where you get them. If you order them from a trapping supply company and you get like at least a half a dozen, you can get them down there in that $11.50 range. If you go to your farm stores and buy them off the shelf, individually, they're going to be in that $14 range. So I recommend to get at least 4 of them and set them up. But if you get a half a dozen, set all half dozen of them. But definitely you want to be setting more than one, because you will catch doubles. You'll catch, if you got 3 of them messing around in your garbage, you'll catch all 3 of them first night usually. So they're really easy to set. You don't have to worry about catching your cats or your neighbor's dogs or anything like that if you use the right bait. So there's several different methods you can do to set them. If you've got the hand strength, you just grab a hold of this the bar on the back, and you can squeeze it with both your hands, and once you can get your fingers over that dog, okay, then you can get that set down in your trigger here. So I don't know if you can see that. Set that down in your trigger, just like so, okay, and then inside, can't see it, but there's a trigger in there. Down here there's a bar. When a raccoon goes to get his food, he puts his foot in there, pulls it up, and then you catch him with some handcuffs here. If you can't set them by hand, you can get you some setters. Nothing more than like a 3/8 bar bent in half. You catch it, get your dog set in the middle of them, catch the pin there in your spring, and then you can set it like so. Okay? Or the easiest method, and these guys here will run you $3 to $5 depending on where you get them. Everybody's got an old flat blade screwdriver laying around. You can do the same thing with it. Get underneath this pin here, and on the other side of your spring, squeeze it down, set it like that. Okay? So you're going to want to stake these off. Now I use a rebar stake. It's got a washer welded on it. Okay, it's, I don't know, 18 inches long or so. And then you just go through the last swivel there and run that in the ground. And I'll run it down to the ground so there's, just an inch or so, just enough room there that'll swivel around your stake. Now, if you don't have rebar stakes, or if the farm supply doesn't sell them, or you don't want to pay the shipping to order these, because these can be heavy depending on how many you order, just the regular old like electric fence posts, the metal ones, it's got like the spade on the end to keep it from rotating. flip that upside down so the spade's up and run that through the ground. You know, jam it down on the ground as far as you can get it. You just want it so that this swivel can't work its way off of that, that fence post. Fence posts will work. You can also, you know, wire them off to a tree or you cable them off to a tree, but I've had issues with them getting the traps wrapped around the tree, you know, and they'll end up just somehow, they'll always end up with the spring there up against a tree and they'll pull on it and that'll release. It doesn't take much, just a little bit of give on here and they'll be able to pull their foot out. So staking them, I have had no pullouts staking them. Wired them off or, you know, doing them to a fence post or a tree or something like that. You want to keep them away from something they can climb also. Like, you know, you don't want to put your traps next to a fence. They'll climb up the fence and they can pull a stake out of the ground fairly easy if they get it going straight up out of the dirt. But, you know, if it's side to side force, they're never going to pull these out. But if they can get up, you know, onto a fence and go, they can get that stake out of the ground fairly easy. So I like to set away from any trees, bushes, fences, gates, anything like that. Kind of out in the open by themselves, and you won't have to worry about them getting away. Now, bait. In my opinion, dry cat food, the best DP bait you can get, but you'll catch cats. So if you got cats on your farm, you don't want to use cat food. The second best thing that I found that's readily available, especially to farmers, sweet feed. It's called Sweet 16. I'll put a picture of the what I use here in the video somewhere. But it's a Sweet 16 feed. It's like a pellet, and there's cracked corn and oats and molasses. It's kind of sticky and it's sweet. This here's what it looks like. All right, and then I have been taking a packet of like dry Kool-Aid, a little Kool-Aid pouch. Take a pouch of that. I like cherry. Dump that in there. Shake it up, mix it up real good. Dry Jello powder. That works good. I use cherry. I've used grape. Grape works. I just think, personally, I think cherry works better in my opinion. So cherry Jello. But I got some of this. I won this at a bow shoot. It's a product from Big Tine. What it is, it's for you put it on top of corn for like deer baiting. We can't bait here in Illinois, but I had my eye on this because I was going to use this for my coon bait. And it's got a really intense, I mean, it's really strong, way stronger than Kool-Aid pouches or the Jello. It's like a white powdery thing, and super strong cherry smell. I put it says 2 scoops will do 50 pounds of corn on here, or grain, or whatever it is you want to mix in there, but I did almost 3 scoops in this little gallon jug, and it smells amazing. Really good cherry smell to it, and so that stuff I think is going to work out really well for me. In the past with the Kool-Aid or the Jello, just around farms where I have to use this stuff or I don't want to be catching cats, it just works great. So like I said, check out the Duke DPs. There's several different DPs out there. In my opinion, and I've used these since I started using DPs for coons. I've used these. I've used several different brands. I always go back to these Duke DPs. A really good value for the money, and I've never had an issue. Never had any kind of an issue with these traps. So check them out. Duke traps. Like I said, you can get them. They're a very common trap. You can get them Farm Kings, Farm and Fleets, whatever your farm store is, Shields, Cabela's, all that, them places sell them. You will get your better deal, you know, at trapping supply companies like Hoosier Trapper and Iron Trail Trapline. Iron Trail doesn't carry the Dukes, but they have some other brands. So check them out. Get you some Duke DPs. If you're having problems with coons on your farm, like I said, you can get, you know, way more traps in the ground with these DPs versus cage traps, and they're going to be more effective, in my opinion. You know, it's a coon's natural desire to reach in and get food out of stuff. So, you know, it's more natural to them than climbing into a little cage and getting, you know, a can of tuna fish or whatever you got going on, and you know, you're gonna be catching all your cats and your neighbor's cats and whatnot. Get the job done quick, efficiently with some DPs. I'll throw in a video here setting it out by my chickens. You know, I've used it at my own place, other farms, and it's a good, quick way to get rid of your pests. So, appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Alright guys, so when you set these DPs up, I'm out here by my chicken coop. When you set these DPs up, like I said, to set them, I'll squeeze the bars there and set the dog on the trigger, just like that. That's what it's going to look like when it's all set. And then, you know, I just got the one here, but I would set at least 4 of them around, and just wherever you think the access points are, or where you think the coons are coming from, like, you know, around your farm or in the yard or whatnot, you're not going to see any coon trails, but you know, openings in the fence or around gates or the doors or anything, or any evidence where you're seeing the coons getting into your coops or your barns or whatnot. And when you set it, you got the spear there. I like to set it with the dog kind of angled down. So you just set it in the ground there, stick it down in there, like, you know, now let me move back here a little bit. There we go. So, like I said, angle it down and stick him in the ground there. Find a spot you can get it in, and you want it to be in some solid ground, so, you know, when they're reaching in there to pull on that trigger, the trap stays in the ground. I don't have my hammer, so you just stake this off. You know, you'd pound that down in the ground like that, and then take some of this feed, fill it up. Don't fill it up, but just above that trigger a little bit, give a little something around there on the ground. And like I said, I like to use this sweet feed with cherry in it. You can see I've got cats running all over around here. If you use cat food, you're gonna catch a cat. It won't hurt them, but they ain't fun to release, especially if they're more of a wild farm cat. But the cherry sweet feed, you're gonna hammer the coons on them. You don't have to worry about any stray catches for cats, but I guarantee you these are gonna do you better than cage traps. So definitely give them a look if you're having issues with the coons. So, all right, guys, this is how I'd set them up here around the farm.